Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about the most powerful aspect of Gary Gygax's legacy, Grow as Group. And today we're going to dig into spiritual equilibrium. All right, so it is my contention that Gary Gygax very much intended to establish three things in everyone at the table, right? An intellectual platform, emotional range, and spiritual equilibrium. Now, what did Gary intend to establish in each non-person of faith at the table? Now, first of all, I want to make this super clear. When Gary Gygax built Dungeons and Dragons, he was not a Christian. He was a person of non-faith. Okay, he was a secular, right? People of faith are sacred, so I'm going to refer to it as secular and sacred. He was a secular, and he was hoping to establish a spiritual equilibrium for seculars. Sacreds don't need Gary Gygax's help to establish a spiritual equilibrium. They go to church every week. They listen to a sacred text. They have an entire community to help them with their spiritual equilibrium. And they don't just achieve spiritual equilibrium, they're elevated above you, right? If you're a secular, we're better than you, period. We're literally more valuable and better. Like, we're going to heaven, you're not. Like, it's pretty, now, to be clear, we're all of equal value, okay? But the reality is, we're fortunate. We're not better than you. We're blessed, right? And you're cursed. That's the separation. Okay, yeah, I should clarify that. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so he came to give spiritual equilibrium to the seculars. No person of faith needs Gary Gygax to achieve spiritual equilibrium. We're spiritually elevated above the rest, above seculars, period. But without Gary, no secular had any hope to reach any spiritual equilibrium. What is the spiritual equilibrium Gary was hoping to establish in people with Dungeons and Dragons? It was good alignment. You should be good, okay? Now let me defend that. First of all, there is literally no room for evil characters in Dungeons and Dragons. You have to get special permission from your dungeon master, and the only reason it was even allowed in Dungeons and Dragons was so that people could scratch their itch and go, oh, trust and believe we can run a good evil campaign and it'll be a fulfilling story. It's never a fulfilling story. It never works. And Gary left it in there to show evil sucks, right? People who murder suck. People who are selfish suck. People who are who betray suck. All evil characters suck, right? And it's in there to teach people firsthand. And the reason why is Gary knew, you can't hand people lessons. They have to see it firsthand. But he did say, hey, you want to play an evil character? You can go kick rocks. You cannot do that without special permission. You have to be the special snowflake that goes to their DM and say, hey, can I play an evil character? And then then the dungeon master is like, it sucks that you're even asking this, but I'm going to let you find out that you are a garbage human and your character is going to be a garbage character, right? And then we can start to work on you getting to neutral, and then we can get you to good alignment, right? Gary specifically built a narrative engine for heroes, and those exist in chaotic, neutral, and lawful good, right? Gary built an elevator to take you from evil to neutral to good, right? Or if you were good, to allow you to pull others up. So that's what the spiritual equilibrium is. Now, why does this work, right? Why does Gary Gygax's legacy actually apply spiritual equilibrium? It should, okay? The answer to that exists in the brand new Netflix show, Nobody Wants This. It's about a shiksa dating a rabbi, right? And the shiksa is, I'm not using that term, it's literally what they call her in the movie. And then somebody in the movie is like, what's a shiksa? and they're like, it's a hot blonde non-Jewish woman. Boy, does that describe Kristen Bell. She nailed that role, right? And so this shiksa is dating this rabbi, and her name is Morgan, and her sister's name is Sasha, right? And the rabbi's like, hey, would you please convert for me? And and then Morgan's like, he actually wants me to convert to Judaism for him. And Sasha, Morgan's sister, is like, you should totally convert to Judaism. And she's like, why? Why should I convert to Judaism? And she says, well, you don't stand for anything and you have no strong beliefs, right? There you go. That's every atheist and every agnostic. They don't stand for anything and they don't have any strong beliefs. So you can just suck them up to the spiritual equilibrium of good alignment, okay? Obedience for the purpose of making the world less sucky, right? Evil sucks. Neutrals definitely sucks. What's interesting is I actually have more respect for evil people than neutral people. And the only reason there is at least they're committed to like a side, right? Whereas the worst people are the ones who stand in the middle, in my humble opinion. So this is what spiritual equilibrium Gary intended, in my humble opinion. And I just explained why it actually works. Because people who are interested in evil and neutral characters, they don't stand for anything and they have no strong beliefs. So why not just at least mirror them to an actual sacred person, right? Who is pursuing, and that way they can pursue good, right? And that does make the world less sucky, right? It doesn't really help. It doesn't actually, it doesn't achieve anything really good, but it does make there to be less evil in the world, and there's some advantage in that, right? I think that's a better way to say it. Like, there's some advantage in that, if not a definite good. It's best to be sacred, but I really do think it's important to understand this spiritual equilibrium that is established through Dungeons and Dragons. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion, nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.